everybody, Linda Carroll here from my studio, Gather of Great Things. And this is part 2 of my Masterboard, making a mini book from a Masterboard. And I've spent some time laying out my collages on the full Masterboard. And I know I still have to add some things that I haven't quite found yet, but I really like the way that my layout is going. I decided to repeat the circle element, much like I did in my collage that I did quite a long time ago. But this time I used mostly printed pieces with text, and I used a few clock faces and gears, and I have some music pages that I cut circles from, and I have one page that's in one circle that's has text in Italian. I also, and I like the way this one is turning out, used an illustration from a children's book in this piece and this piece. The rest are illustrations that I cut out of a planner, and I repeated a lot of those illustrations throughout as well. So I took a picture with my camera and I printed out the page on my printer just so I would be able to remember where I had placed things, because as I said the other day, I usually lay out the entire collage on the background, and then I decide if I'm going to do anything else with the background. And I did this little this collage in my junk journal, my art journal made from junk mail, and I had laid out the entire collage and then decided what colors I was going to use in the background and on the edges. So I've done the same thing with this piece, and I'm going to use the same technique that I used on this larger collage with this smaller collage. And I did paint the background with gesso, tinted with this light mocha acrylic paint, and let it dry. And I did that yesterday. And you can still see the vintage papers through that background, but they're not as bright or as brilliant. The text isn't competing with the collage pieces that I've laid out on here. So I'm going to take a minute and gather together all the pieces that are in each collage, and I'm going to try and keep them together. Let's see, put them over here on the side. Now, some of these pieces overlap two collages, and will be cut when I do the final collage cutting. So let's see here. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, and then on row 2, my collages usually tell a story. There's a narrative in each collage, even if it looks abstract like this one. There's a narrative going on about through the images on the collage. I for some reason I can't get away from it. I've done very abstract collages, but I can always find a story in the collages that I do. These collages aren't quite as weird and wonky as the collages in my art journal are right now. I kind of calmed my style down a little bit. But for now, let's get started on putting some color into the background. I can still see the lines that separate my sections. I think I might darken them a little bit because I want the edges of each square to have more color in them than the interior of the 3" by 3" square. So I want to be careful that I don't end up getting too much color in the middle, because that's where most of my images lie anyway. So I think this one, when I can see this one kind of, and this one, okay. Now, in my video from yesterday, I had coated the background collage with gel matte medium, soft gel matte medium, and that sealed the paper, the vintage paper. And then I painted over the top of that with a gesso tinted with the acrylic paint. That gave this a little bit of tooth that will hold the paint, and that's not really paint. I'm going to be using my Inktense pencils, and these are water soluble. And what I'm going to be doing is adding the color around the edges, and then I'm going to go in and activate that color with water. And I'm not going to make this really really dark. I want it lightened up because I can always go back in and add more color later. And I'm using basically the colors that appear in the artwork. The only thing I'm not adding is pink because the need to get a paper towel here to wipe off my brush. If I mix the orange and the blue, it's gonna turn kind of browny gray, which I don't want to happen. I hope you can see this. It is light. The colors are light that I'm working with. So I'm going to add a little bit of green. Maybe what I'll do is I'll go in and add all my color first, and then I'll kind of speed this up a little bit because you don't have to watch me go in and add color everywhere. And then I'll go ahead and add some water and activate this. But I don't think you want to watch me do all of these edges. So just kind of enjoy the process with me. And I'm only putting color around the outside edges. And then we'll come back and activate this color. So I'll be back in a bit. tiny pieces and everything. So I'm going to continue. I have one more row and then one on this row to finish. And then I'm going to keep on working on it, probably adding some rubber stamps where I feel they're appropriate, probably adding some canceled stamps, and then I'll plan on coming back and I'll show you how I've decided to complete this particular masterboard that I'm going to turn into a mini book. And we haven't really even talked about the back. I backed mine with a piece of pattern paper, and then I'm going to put little quotes on the back of mine that seem pertinent to this time that we've spent at home. And so I will see you later. collage part, I believe, is finished. I'm going to go in and add some rubber stamps and some shading around some of the pieces that need to pop a little bit more. I might add a few more stamps. I might have to dig into my collection in my book and see if I can find some stamps that would work better than the ones I have here on my table. But I really like the way the story is evolving, and I'm kind of excited to move forward. But for today, that's all I'm going to do. I'm probably going to work on this a little bit more, just experimenting with stamping and that kind of thing. What I'll do is I'll use my copy that I made, and you can see the difference in the background, having added some color to the background, and what a difference it makes for these pieces to pop. I do, however, like the shading that happened when I made the copy. So I'm going to go in and add some of this shadowing on the finished piece. But what I'll do is experiment with some of my rubber stamps and decide exactly what I might want to add a rubber stamp. Like I said, I don't really know yet. I'm gonna have to play with these a little bit and decide exactly what I'm gonna do. But I do love this stamp set, so I'll probably work with this one and a few more small stamps that I have. But for now, I'm gonna say I am finished for today. So I hope you enjoyed it. If it was too much watching me do all of this pasting down, I hope you fast forward it to see the finished collaged piece. And I'll have one more video to finish it up. So I hope you have a great rest of your day or evening, and many blessings to you. Bye for now.